Hey guys, so for day 9 of my Halloween designs, I'm going to be doing a really cool like 3D snake design. So before I started, I wanted to test something out to see how it would look. I wanted the nail to kind of look like snake skin. So here was where I was testing what I wanted to do. I did 2 different methods of this, and I decided I was going to go with what I did on the top of that nail to achieve this look. So to start off, I am going in with this black gel polish. It came with a cat eye kit that came off of Temu. I'm also going to be using a green cat eye gel polish that came in the same kit. So to start off, I'm just going to paint all of the nails with this black gel polish, and then I cure for 60 seconds. To get the snakeskin like effect on the nail, I just mixed up some dish soap and some water, and I'm going to paint another layer of the black. And before I cure that, I'm going to scoop up some of those bubbles with my fan brush and just place them onto the wet gel polish. Now, this part was a little difficult for me because the bubbles, I think because my like filming light, it gets pretty hot under it. I think it was popping the bubbles really fast, and so I have to move pretty quickly. You're gonna see here a little bit how of a struggle it was. Also, the bubbles didn't really want to stick very well to the gel polish. This is all in real time, so you can see how the bubbles here are popping, and I'm trying to spread everything around, and really just how quickly I kind of had to move with this. But also, while I was moving some of the bubbles around, they would pop, and it was just kind of a struggle. I did have to eventually do this off camera and away from my filming light because it was just easier that way and the bubbles weren't popping as quickly. Then after you get the bubbles on, you do the nail in the lamp for 60 seconds to cure it, and it'll leave all these little indentations of where the bubbles are. I did wipe it off really well with some alcohol just to get off any of that soap residue. And as you can see, there are still some spots that didn't get covered by bubbles, so it doesn't have that like snakeskin looking texture on it. But that's okay because I am going to be putting something on top, and you really can't tell once the nail is all completely together. So then I am just going to repeat that same process on the rest of the nails. It did get easier with each nail that I did. Like I said, I also ended up doing it off camera because I just felt like the bubbles weren't popping as quickly when I didn't have the nail directly under my light. So that also made it easier. And this is what they look like once I'm finished applying all of the bubbles. Now I'm going in with this green cat eye polish, and I'm going to be applying it on to the nail. I don't do a thick layer. I kind of do more of like the dry brush technique with this just because I don't want to lose that texture from the bubbles. I want the green there, but I also want to see the texture on the nail, so I'm doing very light layer of this cat eye gel polish. I don't have very much on my brush at all, just enough to get that green all over. And then I'm going to take my magnet and I just run it along the edges of the nail. I did the same technique in my like Y2K nail video. I really like how that looked, and I thought it would really I thought it would be the best way to do this instead of doing like a swirled design or like doing the line across. I just thought this would look more snake-like. And then after I get the cat eye how I want it, I do cure for 60 seconds, and then I repeat that same process on all of the nails. The other way that I attempted to do this design was do the black first and then do the cat eye and put the bubbles directly onto the cat eye, but I just felt like you didn't really get that cat eye effect when I did it. You couldn't see like the shift or the change in the like green part. It all just kind of looked flat. So when I tested it again, I did it this way, and I felt like this way was better, and you could really see like the cat eye effect a whole lot better. And this is what they look like once you get the cat eye on. I think they look really cool like this. I feel like even just doing this could be a whole design if you wanted, like if you didn't want to put the 3D snakes on top and you just wanted like snake skin textured nails. Here I am going in with a base coat before doing the 3D snakes. I am going to be using the sculpting clay stuff again, and I've used it a couple times already, and I just feel like if I don't have the base coat down, sometimes it doesn't stick very well to the nail and it wants to try and fall off. So I decided I was going to try with the base coat and see if it would stick better, and it did. I didn't have issues with the clay sliding around or trying to fall off before I cured it. Once I stuck it down on the nail, it stuck where I placed it and where I wanted it, so I didn't really have to worry about it moving on me before I was ready. And applying this base coat didn't affect that texture at all. You can still see it, and that's because of the cat eye gel polish. It did like sink down and seep into all those tiny little holes that were across the nail. So when applying this base coat, it doesn't like smooth that out or like make it so you can't see them anymore. The base coat did smooth it out a little bit, not to the point where you couldn't see the texture there, but it did smooth it out to where the nail wasn't as bumpy as it was before applying the base coat. So for the 3D snakes, I'm going to be using this black 4D UV gel. I got this off of Temu. I'm also going to be using this gold chrome powder to make the snakes gold. So I have used this sculpting gel before. I've used it in white and like a nude color. But this black was like super sticky. I didn't have any problems with the other colors that I have used, but for some reason this black was just extremely sticky. It wasn't really wanting to roll out very well right here. I also tried rolling it out just on the palm of my hand with my gloves, and it still was sticking really badly. I had to wet it with alcohol, a little bit of alcohol, to make it so it wouldn't stick to everything. I was just really struggling with this black sculpting gel. I feel like it might have something to do with whatever they use to make it black, like that black pigment they used. Because I know from experience of mixing up my own, like, colors from polygel or even builder gel, certain pigments, and depending on how much pigment you use, can affect like the stickiness or like the texture of what you are using. So I feel like because this is such a pigmented black gel, it just really affected how this gel worked and made it super sticky. But as you can see, I'm just taking little chunks of this sculpting gel and rolling it out into little like logs, and then placing it onto the nail to create the snake body. So here is when I decided to use a little bit of alcohol to try and prevent the gel from sticking to everything. I put some alcohol down on my silicone mat here. I also had some alcohol on my gloves, uh, and it did make it a whole lot easier to do this, but it also, I had a little bit too much alcohol on everything, so it was just sliding around instead of rolling into the little log that I needed. So I did transfer over to rolling it out on my hands because there was less alcohol there. Here I'm just taking my silicone tool and just kind of blending out where those different logs that I rolled out are connected. That way it doesn't look like separate pieces. It all looks like one big long squiggly uh, log there on the nail. And then after I do that, I grab out a little bit more of that sculpting gel and place it down and use my silicone tool to form the head. The head is just kind of like a triangle shape, so I just kind of messed with it until it was how I wanted it. And now to get the snakeskin texture on this snake that I created, I'm just taking my cuticle pusher, and on that like bumpy ridged area, I'm rolling that along the gel to get those indents to look like the snakeskin. And then after that, I do cure for 30 seconds, and then I rub on the gold chrome powder. I do try really hard not to get the gold chrome powder onto the actual nail and just keep it on the snake because I do have base coat down and I couldn't really go in and buff out the nail to prevent the chrome powder from sticking. But if I do get a little bit of the chrome powder on the nail, that's no big deal because I do go in later and clean that up. I also tested out on my little tester nail at the beginning of how long I should cure the sculpting gel for the chrome powder to stick. I wasn't even sure if this was going to work. So I tried curing it for a full 60 seconds and then applying the chrome powder. And the chrome powder did kind of stick when I cured for 60 seconds, but it looked really grainy and it didn't stick in all the places. So then I tried curing it for half the time and applying the chrome powder, and that's how I found out that 30 seconds would be the best. It left that smooth, like chrome look to it. It also stuck to the gel a whole lot better. And then after I got the chrome on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds to make sure that it was completely cured, since I did only cure for 30 seconds beforehand. And then I repeat that same process on the rest of the nails. So for this nail, I was struggling really badly with this black gel. It was just sticking to everything, and when I was trying to put it down onto the nail, it was sticking to my glove. Even when I was using the alcohol, I don't know what was going on with this nail in particular and why I was struggling so much, but it was a hot mess, and you're gonna see the snake doesn't turn out very well. I also ended up forgetting to put the texture onto the snake, so it is just a smooth snake in the end. And I ended up completely redoing this nail because it didn't look good, and because I forgot to add that texture. And this is the last nail that I do on camera. I do the other 3 off camera, but I do show me redoing this nail because I did put the snake on a little bit differently than these 2 that I have shown. And this is how they ended up looking. And I don't have that other nail here with them because, like I said, I messed it up and I am going to redo it. So looking at it here compared to the rest of them, it doesn't look as good as them. It also looks weird because it doesn't have that texture. So when I redid this, instead of doing it like that squiggly pattern down the center of the nail, I did it how I did the ring nail and made it look like it was wrapping around the nail instead. So when I place these little like logs on, I just put them on so they're going like diagonally down the nail, so it does look like the snake is continuously wrapping around the nail. And I remembered to add the texture this time around. And like I said earlier, if I did get any of this chrome powder on the nail, I did clean it up with a cleanup brush and some acetone. I used acetone instead of alcohol because the acetone seems to clean up the chrome powder a lot better than the alcohol. And then I also top coated the nails. But I forgot to hit record when I was top coating. And this is how they came out. I think they look so cool. They're really giving like Medusa vibes. I also, with the green and the gold, I also feel like it's kind of giving like Loki from, Thor and the Avenger vibes. I just think these came out so cool with all the different texture and the cat eye and the different movement that you get on these nails from the snakes, and even the cat eye kind of gives it like that little bit of movement from the shifts. I think these nails are great for Halloween, like if you're being Medusa or if you're just doing some sort of like snake costume. I also feel like this is a cool set just for any time of the year. Like you don't just have to do this for Halloween. I did my very first video that I posted on YouTube was actually something kind of like this, but it was a little bit different. I will say though, this nail right here, the snake, did kind of get a little weird there on that second, what was supposed to be curve. It looks more bent rather than curve. I spent a while trying to fix that, but I couldn't really get it to round out very well, so I just left it like that. Like it's really no big deal, but they look so cool, and seeing them here in the sunlight and the shift of the cat eye, they kind of look vintage-ish, like in this lighting with the gold. These are just a really cool set of nails, and I really love how they came out and how they look. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.